All right. So this is the Paul's Photo Creative Photo Academy LA Zoo Photo Day Image Critique Set 2. So these 4 photos of all of the photos were probably the most contentious. Meaning, between Andres and Jill's owl and between Tony and Chris's parrot, there was the most debate between the judges about which one was the top and the second, right? And in both of these, it's an opinion. Because they're all 4 great images, right? They're great captures. I'll tell you what the winner, the determination between the 2 owls on the left was. Andre's print is a little brighter. So Andre, you've got a little more color, a little bit more snap in your print. And that was the decider when the judges, when they're debating back and forth about which one they like better, right? And on the right, you'll never guess what was the decider. The background. The color of the background is what made the judges say, because this color was more complementary than this one, right? So Chris, you could have taken the background down a titch, right? Or warmed it up a little bit. And is all that acceptable in Photoshop? Yes, right? Is that stuff we could have done in a darkroom? Yes, right? So you can see, it's just like baseball is a game of inches, right? This photography thing, when you get to this level, is it very fine differences between the good, the bad, and the ugly? Yes. Because yeah, I can adjust the background, but can I adjust the background too much? Yes or no? Yes. And then it becomes like the tiger that was way over processed, right? Questions? Chris?
Well, when I'm looking at that on the computer, I find myself focusing in on certain things that are catching my eye, which is, and now that you bring up the background, I've like taken away from, oh my God, look at how prehistoric he is, and
right.
all the detail in his claw, and his beak, and the walnut, and I get caught up in the detail of that and concerned with, I'll lose that part of the composition.
Detach.
Okay.
You have to detach. You have to, like anything in life, quite often you get too involved. And when you get too involved, you're off into the weeds, right? Take a step back. And how many of you print pictures at home? Okay. You can't be successful with this until you start printing more, visualizing the print, because Ansel Adams didn't think about being in Yosemite. He thought about what the print is going to look like hanging in the living room, right? That's the secret, right? So not just what is it's a cool, and it is, Chris, it's a cool capture, but there's more to it than that, right? Am I being hard on you guys, yes or no? Is this what the information you want to hear? Yeah. Right? Okay. 2 other bird pictures, and both of these are great captures, but they have strong problems. What's the problem on the right? The background. It's not the grass. It's this line and this that competes with the bird, right? You have a hard time seeing the bird. On the left, it's the grass, right? And there's no way to take that out. You can't, I don't care who you are in Photoshop, right? Bill Gates couldn't take that out, right? So, God, it was a great capture. Next time I'm coming with my tweezers to pull the grass out, right? And it happens to me in Africa all the time, right? So when the lions are hunting, where are they? Down in the grass. And so you're looking through, the whole point to a lion hunting is They want their eyes and their ears the only thing above the grass. And maybe that's a cool picture, right, of them hiding in the grass. But with the grass in their face, and you'll see another couple later on where there's stuff in front of the face, and it just, becomes an issue.
There's one under there.
So Andre, right? This is a great picture. Another aspect of the judging is this is my rule in the way, my part of the management. We pick your best picture, right? So the group decided that what was your other one? The owl was your top picture, right? So that's going to be your winner. Now, is this a winner quality picture? Yeah, but you already got your winner, dude, right? Tony the same way, right? Right? Yeah. I mean, these are awesome pictures, right? The only one that lacks is the second one that's a discussion. Why? Look at the tonality. No, it's the tonality here that made this one lose. And this looks like it's just, somebody has cropped the you-know-what out of it to get it here, and it was way too light, and they darkened it down because they don't understand about how the light meter works, right? You've got to spot meter this one and get the exposure right in the range. You can't just shoot it and fix it in Photoshop, guys. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work. You've got to capture it right, Photoshop to tweak it, Lightroom to tweak it, get it right, print it, and then you got a winner, right? So, yeah, I mean, the judges love this one because it shows the interaction with the keeper, which is awesome. This is a great moment with the battler. This is a great moment. This is a great moment too, but it's not carried off well. And gang, if you've never come and seen a battler in the wild, it's a phenomenal sight to see them fly in the wild. It's so awesome. So awesome. That's why, I get to go to Africa in February for my 10th time, right? And to see this stuff in real life is just so amazing. Questions here? And I love putting them up this way. Why? Because you don't have to say much, right? It's kind of like there. Oh man, I love Dolly. She is just so great. So Chris, you talk about prehistoric, right? Oh my God, right? Yeah. So Chris and Victoria, you guys both had other winners, right? So, these are just awesome captures. Chris, I would have cropped, taken the left out, right? You don't need to see the edge of the wing, and having that pole there, see the light on the pole?
Yeah.
See what that does to the image? Boom, right? So you got two options here, right? You don't need to see the edge of the wing. There's no information there that we need, but just to take that out, just right to there.
Yeah, that has to work.
Yeah, and you could even come to there, or to there, or to there, right? You don't need to see all of it. And Victoria, I love this one. This is great. So what did you do to the upper corner? Because you did something to that.
I don't remember. I
Okay.
started because I was going to try to make it all green.
Right.
With cloning, and I couldn't.
You couldn't get it?
I couldn't get it.
Yeah, so, but I could, now, do I have a critical eye? Yes. Can I tell that you did something here? Yes. Is that objectionable? No. Right? Yeah. Awesome.
When do you know, like with the chimp, you said don't pop them out, and then with that, you said it's okay to pop the wing. The claws. Is there?
It's about the story, it's about the communication. So people ask me, Mark, how did you learn that? Doing my figure photography. Doing my figure photography taught me how you communicate with the human body, that then I translate that to a chimp or a tree or a rock. So what do I need to see to tell the story, and what don't I need to see? When is it okay to cut that? And gang, there's no other way that I have learned to do that or to teach it but that way. Okay, for three flamingos, right? So Sharon, this is your winner. This is the winner in the flamingos. Riches was very close. This was, again, a very good debate. What caused the judges to pick this one over this one was this. Actually, they mounted it sideways. But this, right? The white background. So if he would have taken, and I'll tell you another rookie mistake, right? Rookie mistake would be to go to darken this, right? But then where's the rookie mistake? If you darken the upper left-hand corner.
The crook of the neck? Would you miss the possibility?
Yes! You miss this. So if you darken that, do I have to darken this too? Yes. Which is harder to darken? That bastard right there will kill you. But if you darken this, this has to be the same. Beautiful. I mean, and this is just, it's a great capture, it's a great moment, but it's a bad print, right? It's too blue. Is shooting pink flamingos in the shade difficult? Yes. Do you have to have your white balance right? Yes. Do you have to have your exposure right? Yes. Do you have to have your computer processing down, your saturation, your contrast, your exposure down? Yes. If it was easy, you could do it with your phone. Right? Now, Victoria, you won this category because we have a beardy at home. And Iro is my wife's favorite. So all the staff here knows that Iro, anything Iro wins, right? Just like Baby Yoda. If anybody has Baby Yoda stuff, right? Yeah. So the reptiles are always hard, right? Because they're like this. So either you get a lot closer. And how do I like to get closer? I like to use a long telephoto lens on the reptiles. So I will use a 400 millimeter lens with a 1.4 extender and an extension tube because it flattens. It's not that I'm afraid to get this close to a rattlesnake, because I'm not. You guys know that I'm not afraid. But the image, you see how this, Brian, is problem with this out of focus, and this is weird, and this is weird, right? That's what happens when you use a macro and push right in on it, right? So for a lot of things, I love a macro lens. But for an image like this, for a hummingbird, a small bird, I'll use a 400 millimeter lens from here to Donna, right, to get the image that you want, right? And that's why I carry a lot of times a 400, and not a 100 to 400, not a 18 to 400, but a 400, because it allows me to get that picture, right? So this is cool. I love this one, right? These are great.
One question.
Go ahead. Yeah, Andre.
On the far left,
Yeah.
was there any lighting used for that?
So Victoria, did you use any natural light?
No.
Yeah.
And the ISO was way up on it.
Yeah, because it was dark. I mean, and you need, remember, you probably shoot f8, f11 to get this, right? Yeah. So here are the discussions on the reptiles, right? This is an awesome capture. What caused it not to be selected?
Background.
The background. Same stuff, different picture, right? What caused the two on the right to be not selected?
Color.
The color, right? That's color or close to the color of a bearded dragon, right? And do you have to get the color exact? No. Does it have to be in the same ballpark? Is this in the same ballpark? No. Right? Now, this is pretty close to the horned lizard. He's kind of yellowy, creamy color, but it's just icky flat because they didn't handle the file right.
Mark,
Yes, Brian?
second one, what would you do if you had that?
Darken it.
Darken it?
Darken it. And so once again, I can tell exactly what happened because you have this atomic bomb look right here. Exposure in the camera was done in evaluative meter. It was underexposed. They just took the lightness and darkness slider and went lighten with no look to what that did to the histogram and the highlights, right? Because your highlights are blown out here. Everybody see that? So your histogram on the right side is going to be way off to the right. Okay? And if you don't understand how many of you don't understand what I'm talking about here? Okay, good. But for those of you on the video, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, come to boot camp. That's where you learn that stuff, right? I don't care how long you've been taking pictures. You need to learn, right? Yeah. I mean, the judges, Chris, they loved your elephant. Brian, they loved your elephant because it's not just, there's elephant, right? There's more to it than that. It's a story. And for those of you who came to my safari talk, first time you go to Africa, you make a catalog of all the animals you saw. There's a giraffe, there's a zebra, there's a lion, and the pictures are giraffe, zebra, lion. The second time you go, you try to start giving the pictures some personality. The third time you go, or if you go with me, I'm always going to be striving to make your pictures tell a story. Do these tell a story? Are they more engaging? Do you want to, so Peggy, do you want to learn more about what's going on the left?
Yeah.
And the more questions I ask in the picture, the more you want to be part of the picture. And is that a good picture when you want to be part of it? Yes or no? Yeah. So, what's wrong with the one on the right?
Color.
Color and? Yeah, color and background, right? The two things we've talked about all the time. And could this picture have been saved with some computer skill? Yes or no? Yes. Well, I think so, right? I don't know because I don't have the original file, but yes. Yes. So the lion category was also very tough, right? So the judges liked the one on the left because it really captured a moment, right? If you didn't know that this is the painted backdrop at the LA Zoo, if you didn't know this is the painted backdrop at the LA Zoo, could both of these look like they're in the wild? Yes. Is that part of what we're going for? Yes. The judges really liked, Peggy, they loved your light, but wish you could have managed the printing, the exposure a little bit better. But you lost out to the girls in the judging group who really liked the interaction between the male and the female, right? So Brian, your image on the right, so what is the problem with this one? The rock. Yeah, it's a rock. It's always the rock, right? There's something in the way, right? Yeah. And I know at the zoo we have very little control over that, When you're in Africa, at least you can move. Right, on safari, you can move the Jeep to get the rock out of the way, right? So Pete made a great capture of the snow leopard. When I say this is luck, you guys all know what I mean, right? Because you can stand there, Renee, you can stand there all day and see what? A tail behind a rock, right? You know, and he made a great capture of it. The other thing with the snow leopard is, where does the snow leopard need to be? In the front of the enclosure, because if he's in the back, then you get the fence behind him, right? Karen, you did a great job on the porcupine because you actually got to see porcupine, right? My time at the porcupine was right? And that's the luck of dealing with animals, because animals are what? They're live animals. They're going to do what they do, right? And in the old days, they used to go into the back of the cage with a stick and poke, 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 and get the porcupine to come out. Porcupine would be not happy. Porcupine would be stressed, right? And we just don't do that anymore. So Donna, what's wrong? What's wrong with it? The light, right? So you've got to manage the highlights so our eye, and what really hurts is that this is a triangle. A triangle is a very strong compositional element, and it's not what you want, right? So I want that triangle to be the triangle of the face, not here. So there's a battle between these two. Yes, Brian?
Would you use post-processing to raise or lower the height?
Probably can't. It's probably too strong.
Because I know last year, that particular enclosure, the light is horrible.
Well, but you gotta manage. But if Donna is the gorilla and I'm the photographer, and she has the light here on her face, what does that mean to me as the photographer? If I go stand here, now the light will come off of her cheek and go onto the top of her head and be a little halo around the gorilla. Oh! And now you have an amazing picture, right? But what's going to happen? Now the grass is right in front of his face. Her face. So, I mean, right? That's why you got to just, right? How many of you go to the zoo only once a year? Right? Yeah. So your chances of getting award-winning pictures are good because we help you do that. But if of getting a National Geographic quality picture, come on, you went once, right? So, I mean, the meerkats are so cute, and they're so great. And Brian, you did a great job on your capture this year, right? And we didn't see any other meerkats, did we? Yeah, nobody else got a good picture of the meerkat. George, you did a great job. I mean, it's not a great photo. It's not something I put up on the wall, but you got the dogs, right? The wild dogs are impossible. I have been probably 6 times. And to get the picture that I put into the show, I had to call Jamie, the zoo photographer, and said, Jamie, dude, can you send me a dog? I've been there 6 times and I didn't have anything where they were standing up doing anything. Awesome, George. And Tim, great capture on the orang, but what's the problem? It's busy, right?
Yeah.
So, and you've got to darken the green. If you darken the green, the saturation goes up. Look at this if I compose it like that, right? But what's the problem if I compose it like that? Looks like he's in jail, right? And is that the image that the zoo wants to put on their website? Right? Yes, exactly.
That enclosure could be so much more powerful.
Well, day, Chris, the orangs, George, remember the old orang enclosure? It was awesome. It was an island surrounded by a moat, and the orangutans had a pile of telephone poles and swings and trapeze, and I mean, it was awesome. And they would get up there and they would swing and howl and do all this kind of stuff. But the modern zoo enclosure wants you to be not 50 feet from the animal. It wants you to be this close so there can be an interaction. But what does that mean? 2 layers of fence between you and the animal, which means can we photograph through 2 layers of fence? No, it doesn't work. Now Lucy, many of you know Lucy. Lucy's the academy director. She's from Australia. So we had to put this one in for her. And it's a cool shot of the kangaroos, but it's not managed properly, right? How would it be if this was made a portrait? Get rid of this guy, right? Work with the exposure. As a judge in a photo contest, we always play the shoulda, woulda, coulda game. But can we do that to your picture? Yes or no? No, right? When I judge contests where the submission is electronic, you cannot pick the winner by an electronic thing. We always look at okay, these 4 could be the winner. Now they have to send in a print and we judge the print. Because can you pooch the print? Absolutely, right? The Gariel, awesome capture. I don't know whose this is, but what's the problem? It's not too much, Sharon, it's too bright. So you see how you have a hard time tracking the animal because of the background? So take this down, right? And I'm going to give you guys a free Photoshop tip. When you take the background down, if you take the background down 20%, you also need to remember to take color saturation down 20%. Because as you darken, the color gets richer. And if you don't take the color down and the color saturation down, you get this, see that little bit of yellow? It'll be super strong in the background and look unnatural. 3 captures of the giraffe. None of them are printed properly. The color's way off. This one, they focused on the back giraffe instead of the front. You always want to focus in the front. This one's actually okay, but they focused on the nose and not the eye. It's got to be on the eye. And this, I mean, the judges liked the drool, but said, oh my God, it's just printed bad, right? What's the best feature on the giraffe? The blue tongue. You want to capture the blue, their tongue. I mean, it's not blue, it's kind of a dark gray, bluish, but it's the blue tongue. You got to capture the blue tongue. So that's our evaluation or my evaluation of the zoo photos. Thank you guys for coming out today. Hopefully you will all stop at the camera store on your way out and fulfill your Christmas wish list. For those of you who want more of this evaluation feedback to take your photography to the next level, come to a class, come on a photo walk, come on a trip, come on an adventure with us. Because we have so much fun. It's a great group of people. How many of you are regular class attenders here at Paul's Photo? Raise your hands. Don't be shy. How many of you are regular trip people at Paul's Photo, Creative Photo Academy? Just a couple of you, good. So please ask. If you need help, ask. If you want help, ask. We're always here. We want you to get great pictures. And next year, do I want to see more of you up here on the winner's circle? Yes or no? Yes. I want to see more of you winning with LA Zoo photos at the Orange County Fair next year. And just, the rising tide lifts all boats. We all need to do better together, and then we can have better pictures and it's more fun. So thank you very much, everybody.